Welcome to Advantage Leadership Coaching's Change Management in Turbulent Times training. This is our abbreviated version of the full-length program of the same title. I'm Barbara Jordan, and I'm a women's leadership coach who helps aspiring women break through their glass ceiling by developing courage, confidence, and credibility. I'm also an executive recovery coach, helping high-profile, high-income leaders such as doctors, dentists, lawyers, and other high-level impaired professionals recover from alcohol, drug, or another addiction. To begin, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Do you encounter constant change? And do you have employees who are resisting that change? Do you want to effectively manage change so you keep good employees, keep morale high, and achieve the goals of senior leadership? If you want to more effectively handle crucial changes at work and lead and coach your employees through the change process, you've come to the right place. If you'd like to plan your change efforts to ensure that employees remain resilient in spite of the challenges, the stress, and increased workload, you're in good hands. We will also talk about maintaining positive relationships. I'm going to teach you the concepts that have allowed me to literally transform the leadership of hundreds of leaders like yourself. But before I get too far into the program, I want to start by emphasizing that I have some outstanding offers for those of you who watch the entire video. If you stick around to the end, I promise to offer you some great deals. 80% of success is what? Showing up, right? Yes. So give yourself a pat on the back and say, way to go, you showed up. That means you're over 2/3 of the way there. Now, I'd like to thank you for interrupting your schedule and taking the time to be here with me. I'm going to honor that commitment by making sure your time here today is spent wisely. How does that sound? As long as you're spending your precious time here today, would you like to learn faster? And would you like to remember more of what you learn? There's an age-old saying, and it goes like this: what I hear, I tend to forget. What I see, I may remember. But what I do, I understand. That's why my style of presenting is very interactive. It's because research shows us that the key to remembering what you learn is what? Participation, yes, involvement. So the more you get involved, the more you learn and remember. By the way, do you notice I ask a lot of questions? Why do you suppose I ask a lot of questions? Yes, because questions get you involved. Let me ask you this: do you have clients? And do you have employees? So what do you do if you want those clients or employees to listen and get involved? Ask questions, yes. You may also notice that from time to time I leave the last word off the end of the sentence and I allow your mind to fill in the what? Blank. Yes, thank you. Well done. Urging you to fill in the blanks is another way I encourage you to get involved. You may also notice that I repeat things or ask you to do the same. Now, why would I ask you to repeat things? Again, for involvement, so you learn faster and remember more of what you learn. Besides, repetition is critical to learning. And if I say something, it means one thing, but if you say it, it means everything. In this change management program, I'm going to clear up some misperceptions and negative self-limiting beliefs regarding change and give you a blueprint for planning your change efforts. You'll get tips for making your change efforts more successful and techniques to help you manage constant change we confront every day in our high-paced, ever-changing workplace. Since we're spending this time together, would you mind if I shared a little bit about myself? After all, you may be asking yourself, who is this Barbara Jordan and why should I listen to her? Well, the reason I'm so passionate about this stuff is that I love to help people grow and improve. To do this, I obtained degree after degree, certification after certification, and license after license. If you visit my home, you'll see library shelves full of leadership development and personal and professional growth tools. I've been studying human development, behavior, and performance for 25 to 30 years. I've taught 16 different courses at the college level. As an author, leadership coach for women, and executive recovery coach for leaders struggling with addiction, I thought I had it all. I was on my way to the top after all, at least so it seemed. Despite pursuing all that knowledge, skill, and experience, I felt stuck in my career. After a series of unfortunate events, including both my parents' deaths and a nasty divorce, I lost my business. I knew what I had to do, I just didn't do what I knew. How many of you have been there? You knew you were meant for something more, you could do more, be more, or have more? As a student, I was on the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. With 3 degrees, 3 certificates, and 3 professional licenses, I was the greatest overeducated underachiever. I have more letters behind my name than my alphabet soup. As a perfectionist with an imposter mindset, I was afraid my friends wouldn't like me, my parents and children wouldn't respect me, and potential business prospects would have no interest in me. Like many successful women in leadership, I felt like a fraud, thinking if only they knew the truth, the people who admire and respect me would reject me. In fact, I was afraid of failure in so many areas of my life that by focusing on those doubts and fears, I was actually attracting those very things. How many of you have heard of the law of attraction? Thank you. Whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you visualize, you materialize. Where your attention goes, your energy flows, and your results show. That, my friends, is the law of attraction. Growing up, I was taught to get good grades, work hard, and you'll make it. I swore I was doing all the right things. I was a good person, operated my business with integrity, helped everyone I could. So how did I get to the point where I was shaking my purse and searching for couch cushions, searching my couch cushions for coins? I came to a point where I fell to my knees and prayed, Lord, help me see what I'm doing wrong. I reached for my Bible and it just automatically opened to Proverbs 17:16. And I read it. Why should fools have money to buy wisdom when they aren't able to understand it? Then it opened to Matthew 7:8. Ask and you'll be given. It will be given to you. Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And for the one who knocks, the door will be opened. Holy crap, I thought. I said to myself, I was seeking more and more skill sets, knowledge, and information when all I need to focus on was changing my mindsets. I need to ask better questions, ask for help from those who are successful, knock on doors, and focus on what I can do rather than what I was doing wrong, so I could get more success. You see, you can have all the knowledge and skills in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset, you're gonna just sabotage yourself. Then I decided to challenge and change my negative, self-limiting, disempowering thoughts and beliefs. Another way of putting it is you can have all the leadership tools in the world, but that won't make a difference if your toolbox, in other words, your mindset, is too small and weak. And listen to this, if you want to change your outer world, you must first change your inner world. Your inner world. That point is so important, I'm going to repeat it. If you want to change your outer world, your results, you must first change your inner world, your mindsets. Soon I began to look more closely at my own thoughts, beliefs, attitudes, assumptions, and conclusions. not just my clients' thoughts and beliefs, not just the skills I was trying to learn, practice, and teach. Rather than pursuing yet another license, certification, or degree, I looked inward. And as a result of this shift, I developed 7 leadership development recordings and wrote a book designed specifically for female leaders to overcome perfectionism, achieve success in spite of stress, break through their glass ceiling, and manage their time while achieving their goals. Each of these products help you overcome your blocks to becoming a master of motivation and influence, unleashing the leader within you and speaking with confidence and clarity. Now I help my clients and students think, feel, and act more rationally. Rather than just focusing on skill sets, we concentrate on their mindsets too. After challenging and changing what's in here, you'll be on your way back up as well. If you do this, you'll begin to see your confidence and success skyrocket. As a leadership coach, I help newly promoted female leaders develop the confidence, courage, and credibility to improve their leadership. And I help executives with an addiction, struggling with an addiction, maintain successful recovery. I work with these leaders to overcome the gap between where they are now and where they want to be. I help people determine what they want, what they're willing to do to get it, and how to stay on track until they have it. So remember, if you stick around, I have some outstanding offers for those of you who watch this video to the beginning or to the end. My full-length webinar program will cover the previously listed topics. Explore why change management is so critical. Reasons why people resist change. Challenging misconceptions and faulty beliefs regarding change. And the goals for successful change management planning. We will also cover in the full-length program traits of successful change efforts, phases of planning change, basic strategies for handling that change. When confronted by sudden change, most of us react with fear, dread, and defensiveness. But change lies at the heart of successful management. It's what keeps your company alive. It's actually what created your job in the first place, right? Winners in business tend to have a very different attitude toward change. Instead of fearing it, they relish it and embrace it. They're exhilarated by it. They understand that mastery of change will make them powerful, successful, and maybe even rich. Successful companies are those that have invited or initiated change in technology, marketing, or organization. They've managed to keep a lead in changes over their competitors. Large-scale organizational change usually triggers emotional reactions like denial, resistance, doubt, suspicion, and lack of acceptance or commitment. One of the biggest mistakes companies make is treating transformation as a static event rather than a mental, physical, or emotional process. Lacking emotional literacy or intelligence, they underestimate the depth and impact of change. So some examples of organizational change include the current COVID pandemic and the changes that come with the restrictions of physical distancing, process improvement or re-engineering, restructuring, business acquisitions or mergers, business downsizing or expansions, new technology, new software, new organizational charts, or new work methods. And finally, new organizational culture. The biggest obstacle to successful change is employee resistance. Middle managers also tend to resist change during transition because of fear of losing control, as well as being overloaded with responsibilities. The reasons people resist change are often not the changes themselves, but it's about the implications of the change. We like the way things are. We don't see the need to change. Or we're comfortable with the way things are, so we become complacent. Conservatism includes loyalty to the way things have always been, the past traditions. Rather than take risks and invest in change, we safeguard our current resources. Why change what's been working? Because it isn't. Another reason we resist change is that we feel that we know the best way to do things, the best practices. We think we are the industry standard or benchmark. But this conceit makes us blind to our weaknesses. It prevents us from growing or learning. If I think everything I do is the best, why would I need to change, right? We see change as having a negative impact on us. We might be attracted or attached to the established culture, the best way we do things around here, or the way we do things around here. We're uncomfortable with uncertainty and a lack of clarity as to what's expected. We see incongruence between change and our morals, values, or ethics. Or maybe we're concerned that the change runs counter to the organizational culture, mission, and vision. We might also disagree with the nature of the change as the appropriate solution to problems. Or we don't agree that the particular change is needed. Maybe the timing is wrong or the way it's being done is wrong. Yet another reason people resist change is that leadership hasn't given us the motivation, knowledge, or skills to embrace that change. They've inadequately or unclearly communicated what the change entails and why it's needed. They haven't communicated clear goals and expectations. Lastly, we may resist change because we're just tired of all the change. With the current health crisis, for example, the global pandemic, people are exhausted from all the changes they've had to make, such as the changes required to meet physical distancing rules and restrictions. The cumulative effect of multiple ongoing dynamic change is stress and fatigue. Reasons people resist change continued. The way things were done 5 or 10 years ago is very different from how they're done today. Responsibilities change, job assignments change, work processes change. Change is continuous, isn't it? Nevertheless, people often resist it because it requires them to abandon ways of working that have been successful or at least familiar. To manage change, leaders have to envision the future, communicate this vision to their employees, set clear expectations for performance, and develop the capacity to execute by reorganizing people and reallocating assets. Resistance increases when employees see the changes as change in organizational philosophy, a whim on the part of the person making the change, or change because everyone else is doing it. Reasonable change is good, but change for the sake of change is disruptive. Changes proposed by leaders who are well liked and respected and who have a history of success are more likely to be accepted than changes proposed by leaders whose motives are suspect. Managers facilitate change when they communicate business needs to employees and listen to their concerns. So what's in it for me? In order to accept change, people need to know what's in it for me. WIFM. In other words, we all listen to WIFM. Change management leadership must help people understand the reasons for change, the why, and how the changes will not only benefit each individual, but also support the purpose and long-term mission of the company. Employees will also need to understand the expected positive impact of the change and why it will be worth the effort. Leadership must be visible as they share this kind of information. They must also be accessible in order to answer questions, and they must model the way, demonstrating acceptance of the change through their own behaviors. The inner game of change management. Change can cause fear or discomfort when people are asked to stretch out of their comfort zones. In addition, it often requires more work, time to learn new concepts, build new skills, or adopt new approaches. This worry, unease, or extra effort can result in pushback or skepticism about the change and its value. People want security. Our brains operate to reduce threats and achieve stability. When changes occur in an organization, employees may wonder about the bigger picture or about the potential implications. For example, will the change in organizational structure result in job cuts? Will the shift in software systems impact their performance if they can't learn it fast enough? Reduce resistance to change by letting people know why the change is occurring in terms of business objectives, and reassure people as much as possible given the true implications of decisions. Respond to the underlying concerns they may have about the change taking place. People also want to be competent. New systems can be upsetting to people because they worry their competence will be challenged. They most likely achieved success in the current system and may worry their ability to perform will be negatively impacted in the new system. Reassure people that they will receive the necessary support to develop their skill and time to learn new approaches without negative repercussions. To be successful leading change, we need to identify employees' negative, disempowering, self-limiting thoughts or beliefs regarding change. After all the change management skills and knowledge in the world won't make a difference if you have self-sabotaging attitudes. Do you believe your thoughts and beliefs are a major predictor of your success? If you do, you're well on your way to success. To help you understand how people hold themselves back from changing, let's talk about the law of attraction. I've placed the law of attraction formula on this screen. You'll see the T with an arrow pointing to the F, with an arrow pointing to the A, and then equals R. So thoughts, that's what T stands for, they lead to what? Feelings, right? So the F stands for feelings. And feelings lead to what? Actions, yes. A is for actions. And actions lead to what? Our results. Yes, R stands for results. So T stands for thoughts, F stands for feelings, A equals actions, and R equals results. So basically the source of your results are what? Yes, your thoughts. For example, our parents, before we were born, they had thoughts, didn't they? Many of them impure. And those thoughts led to feelings. And those feelings led to actions, didn't they? And those actions led to you and I. But wait, where do our thoughts come from? They come from our conditioning. What we heard, saw, and experienced growing up. Those are the true roots. For instance, did adults in your life say, people don't change, people can't change, don't trust those with power or authority, the little guy doesn't even matter, and change is too risky? Or did they say these things? People do change, you can trust most leaders, you do matter, and you can make a difference? Did they role model a passion or respect for innovation? Or were they impatient and suspicious of it? Did they distrust and betray their leaders, or trust and follow them? Did they show acceptance and tolerance of change, or rigid resistance to change? That's why this type of training is so important. It's designed to identify your own and your team's negative, disempowering, self-limiting thoughts or beliefs regarding change. And using several high-impact transformational processes, we eliminate the negative, non-supportive mindsets. I have just talked to you about the law of attraction, but have you also heard of the law of the harvest? What you sow, you reap? This is very closely related to the law of attraction. The seeds and the roots of this apple tree on this slide represent your invisible thoughts, beliefs, attitudes, assumptions, and conclusions below the surface. The fruits of the apple tree represent your visible results above the surface. And what creates your fruits? Your seeds and your roots, of course. It's not just what's above the ground, your visible actions, that create your success. It's also what's below the surface, your thoughts, beliefs, attitudes, assumptions, and conclusions. The invisible creates much of the visible, right? Many people don't understand that the physical material world is just a projection of what's in here. We pay too much attention to the fruits, the visible results above the surface, but what you cannot see is far more powerful than what you can see. Don't you agree? For example, the apple farmer, if he doesn't like the quality or quantity of apples on the trees, he needs to look not at the trees, but the roots, seeds, and soil, right? If you don't believe this, you will not be successful because you're operating at a superficial level. Remember, if you want to be successful, you have to look at your inner world. So in my coaching and training programs, I like to focus on the conditioning that leads to the best conditions. I start by removing self-limiting, self-defeating thoughts and beliefs and install supportive, empowering ones. Those of the most successful leaders. This has a dramatic effect on your success. Have you spent hundreds or even thousands of dollars on self-help that turned out to be shelf help? Have you attended tons of professional and leadership development workshops that, although it may have initially led to some change, it eventually ended in procrastination, frustration, and exhaustion? It's because of what happens beneath the surface. You try to achieve success with more and more how-to information. We're well aware of the visible 10% above the surface, the logical benefits or the why-tos of behavior, the what's in it for me, the benefits, the actions we consciously intend to change, our intentions, our conscious intentions. However, we're seldom aware of or in control of the invisible 90% below the surface, our subconscious thoughts, beliefs, attitudes, assumptions, fears, attitudes, our intentional habits, the what ifs or the why not tos, or deep-seated fears. That's why this type of training is so important. You have to blend the outer tools with the inner toolbox. If you don't have a big enough, strong enough toolbox, in other words, mindset, you'll never be a great leader. You can take another generic change management webinar and add a tool to your toolbox, another management training seminar or webinar, and add another tool to the box. Take one of those project management, marketing, leadership, or negotiation skills seminars and add yet another tool to the box. Even if you do learn something from all of this training, it will only be temporary. The learning is seldom sustained. And that doesn't have a long-term effect, that training, because sometimes your toolbox isn't strong enough or big enough to handle the tools or keep the tools. Our training is designed to identify your personal leadership toolbox and, using several high-impact transformational processes, eliminate negative, non-supportive, disempowering mindsets. We rewire you with positive, supportive, empowering mindsets of the greatest leaders. We do some reconditioning if you want to reach a certain level in your organization, to advance your career, You really have to expand and strengthen your toolbox. Beliefs regarding organizational change. First of all, we have this too will pass. But actually, change is here to stay. The only thing you can count on to go away is the way things were. Maybe if I get upset about it or make trouble, they'll forget all this nonsense. No, that's not true either. In reality, controlling our emotions increases your control over the situation. Nobody else can control your attitude. It won't do you or the organization any good if you go around complaining. You'll just waste mental and physical energy and hurt your chances for success if you do that. This is bad for my career. Well, that isn't true necessarily either. Actually, progress is often disguised as trouble. So don't jump to the conclusion. Be open-minded, because the changes may turn out to be great for your career. Look for the opportunity, the silver lining. I can keep my job, or I can keep doing my job as always. That's a misnomer as well. In reality, if the organization is changing, you probably need to change too. If the organization is changing faster than you, you may be headed for trouble. If you see changes in culture, priorities, management style, or workplace in the organization, take it as evidence that you probably need to start doing some things differently yourself. All these problems prove that changes are bad. Actually, problems are a natural result of change. Major change cannot possibly be trouble-free. Destabilization naturally increases job stress while adding to the workload. But this doesn't mean change is bad. Often before things can get better, they must get worse. Here are some more faulty beliefs regarding organizational change. Top management knows a lot more than they're saying. Well, often the case is that senior management is being as open and straightforward as the situation allows. Sometimes major change unfolds as the management discovers, improvises, or charts the path. It's not always the case that a grand scheme is being deliberately concealed. Decisions have to be made as time goes on and circumstances develop. The truth keeps changing. This happened with us in regards to COVID, where I was leading my team. The rules constantly changed. Can we see people in person? Can we not? How much physical distancing do we need to do? Do we need to do telehealth practices? And what types of telehealth practices do we need to implement? It changed consistently. How many people need to telework? How often were people required to telework? 50% of the time or all of the time? All of this kept changing. Another faulty belief regarding change is they don't care about us. Upper management has to make some tough decisions, and it's impossible to keep everyone happy. Management and leadership has to make some popular, or rather unpopular, decisions. It isn't easy or fun, nor does it mean that leadership is insensitive. They must work for the greater good of the organization, and in the process, some are hit harder than others. It's easy to accuse management of not caring when you don't like what's happening. The tendency is to look for someone to blame, but realize that management is only doing it. They're only doing what they have to do. This happened when we had to hold people accountability or hold them accountable for their productivity. It was a very unpopular decision to hold people accountable for decreased productivity and billable time with COVID and teleworking. Nevertheless, we had to do it for the greater good of the organization. Because after all, if we lost all of that billable time and productivity continued to downslide, what would our projected future be? We had to safeguard our future. The next misbelief or faulty belief is I'm not in a position to make a difference. Actually, you're either part of the solution or part of the problem. If you feel like a victim of circumstances, you disempower yourself. You feel helpless, unable to influence anything or anyone. But challenge those thoughts. You're not helpless and you can make a difference. You may surprise yourself with how you can contribute to making change happen. My leadership is supposed to make changes work. Well, if you work at the organization, it's your plan or problem too. Don't call it the president's plan or the CEO's effort, the organization's problem. Top management is responsible for laying out the plan and calling the plays, but you're supposed to run the plays and make them work. You don't have to like the changes, but you should do everything you can to make them a success. Everyone from senior executives to frontline employees need to work together. The last of the changes is, or disbeliefs is, I can't handle another change. But actually, you can handle it. Here are some more distorted beliefs regarding change. The first one is people don't change. Well, this is not so. People do change under the right conditions. Ambivalence regarding change is bad. Actually, when faced with change, we all feel ambivalent, torn, or conflicted. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. The third faulty belief is when people don't want to change, someone needs to force them to do so. This is not true either. When others listen to us with empathy, we're open to change. Threatening people with consequences forces them to change. In reality, when we persuade or argue for change, people often resist or argue against it. Partnering with your employees creates an atmosphere that supports change instead of forcing it. Drawing motivation out of your employees rather than trying to impose it conveys respect and causes people to change for good. Sometimes all we have to do is support the change to make it happen. Here are some more beliefs regarding change that are faulty or distorted. Listening is a waste of time. I just need to tell them what to do. This too is not true. Listening only takes a minute or two. When someone truly listens to us, we usually feel heard and understood. What happens when we feel that way? What do you think? Well, we become engaged, compliant, and motivated, right? Two-way conversations are much more meaningful and have much more impact when you listen more than you talk. We are responsible for making people change. Actually, people are responsible for their own change. Thinking for success. Now, these are the opposite beliefs as those listed in the previous 4 slides. Remember the law of attraction. You create your life one thought at a time by attracting like-minded people, places, things, and events, reflecting your thoughts, beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions. It's like your brain is a projector projecting a film onto the screen of the outside world. What is inside? It's not always what you don't know that prevents you from being successful. It's often what you think you know that isn't so. Negative, disempowering, self-limiting thoughts and beliefs. Now is the time to change them to be more positive, empowering, and supportive of change. This is what helps you create the courage, serenity, credibility, and contentment you need to be a true professional, an excellent leader. When these negative tapes and those other slides play in your mind, stop what you're doing. Say to yourself, I know that's not true. It's just fear, doubt, or suspicion talking. Then replace those negative beliefs with some positive, supportive, empowering thoughts. And remember, imagine the times you had been successful. Here are the thoughts that are counter to the previous thoughts or beliefs. Change is here to stay. I release any temptation to blame, complain, or justify resistance. What seems like trouble is often progress. I'm open-minded because change may benefit me. I look for the opportunity to change. Often things get worse before they get better. As corporate America restructures and cuts costs, and as many organizations must become more competitive, employees themselves are forced to become more responsive and cost-effective. Management consultants aren't trained or experienced to deliver the complex psychological interventions required of change management. Not having the tools to correctly diagnose the organizational dynamics, these consultants are unable to provide effective, long-lasting interventions. On the other hand, people like myself with excellent clinical skills are well suited for supporting organizational change. I have extensive training in group dynamics. I've also taught many college-level human relations courses. Having almost 2 decades of experience helping people of various cultures, actually almost 3 decades, changing in positive ways and providing training and facilitating effective meetings, I've developed these excellent skills. I can predict, analyze, interpret individual or group behavior. Change is upsetting, yet it's good for people. I've built my practice on helping people come to terms with unexpected sudden change. Because good management should help people focus on things within their control, I've helped leaders change their thinking, approach, structures, objectives, training, and cultures. Here are some more thinking for success beliefs that run counter to the distorted beliefs listed previously. Rather than be the problem, I can be part of the solution. Rather than feel like a victim, I can empower myself by being a team player. I am a powerful influence. I can make a difference. I can contribute to making change happen. I don't have to like change. I just have to do whatever I can to make it successful. Change is all of these things. It is constant, unavoidable, necessary in the workplace, even very good. But it can also be very difficult. So use an organizational change model. Know what steps to take and in what order so you can avoid the errors that can derail your efforts. In the full-length program, our Change Management in Turbulent Times full-length webinar, we will present you with several organizational change tools, techniques, and models, ways in which you can plan your change efforts. Why is change management so critical? Competitors are improving and moving more and more quickly today. And there's an intensifying focus on value by customers. Customers are more and more discriminating, sophisticated, and therefore expect more value. We have integration of the supply chain, both backwards integration and forward integration. For example, Quick Trip owns its own bakery, farms, and trucks, so they don't have to rely on vendors. We have a rapid rate of technological change, increasing importance of innovation, and a more mobile workforce with teleworking or commuting becoming more and more common, especially with the COVID situation. The I Wish exercise is an exercise designed to identify problems within an organization, to select problems you can solve and have a positive impact on your culture. What I typically do in the in-person training is I instruct the audience to pair up with someone and interview each other using the questions that follow. With this exercise, with this webinar, I should say, you can do the exercise at your own convenience by, again, just like in the in-person webinar or in-person seminar, I should say, you pair up with someone and interview your partner, and your partner interviews you using the following questions. What do you like best about your job? If you were in charge of the organization, what would you most want to change? What do you wish your boss would change? What could be done to make your job more productive or more enjoyable? Write down your answers, discuss and compile a list of suggested changes. Choose those most appropriate for you, those you are willing to tackle, and narrow that list to the top 3. Choose one item, one suggested change that you believe is valid and that you could work on first, and make it a group project. Set a plan and design activities to support the attainment of your goal. Get organizational endorsement of resources if necessary, and keep this list. Refer back to it at appropriate times. Evaluate yourself quarterly to see how you are doing. Why is change management so critical? Again, every organization is facing rapid technological changes, a global economy, changing market requirements, intense domestic and international competition, increased domestic competition, increased speed and innovations, shortened product life cycles, global competition. And to respond to these changes, organizations are adopting flatter, more agile structures and more empowering team-oriented cultures. One of the greatest challenges of today's leadership is to manage those changes. There's a definite productivity curve during times of change. Management's attitudes are critical because your team will watch your reactions and learn how you proceed. As the manager, you must put on your happy face, even when you don't feel like it. People are watching to see your reaction. Cross-training is becoming much more commonplace, and to complicate matters and create more stress, jobs are being consolidated. And all of this change is critical. Problems suggesting the need for organizational change. Employees complain that the work is too difficult. Employees' turnover is high. A department, unit, team, or function in the organization has recurring problems. It's not always problems that necessitate change. If you do strategic planning and produce new goals, you may need to reorganize. For example, if the business needs to expand its market share in a certain region, then the organization may need a new office in that region, more salespeople, for example. In summary, change management is a do-it-yourself project. I've given you the skills. Now all you need to do is go and apply them. How can you continue to practice change management? Ask yourself that, and write down any specific plans for how you'll continue to develop those skills. Here's a way in which you can get real serious about change management and developing your skills in this area. How can you apply the concepts in this presentation? Changes in practice behavior are often small after training unless you take steps to continue to acquire, maintain, and generalize the skills learned. Incorporate the change management skills presented here into your individual leadership development plan. So on your own, write down the following. One thing I learned was, I was reminded that, and 2 things I need to work on specifically are, and get as specific as by such and such a date you will blank as indicated by blank. What I'd like you to do is email them to me and I will send them back to you in 3 months so that you can assess your progress, and this will hold you accountable. If you write down what you intend to do and someone reminds you 3 months later, do you think that will help you get your butt into action? I think so. That concludes our presentation. As promised in the beginning, I will offer you some excellent products and tools at some great prices. If you like this presentation, for example, you may like my business leadership book entitled Leadership Success in Spite of Stress. Long hours, tight deadlines, family obligations, no time to exercise, eat, sleep well, or reflect. Does this sound familiar? In Leadership Success in Spite of Stress, I offer 30 years of experience coaching business leaders struggling with demanding work schedules. This book will help you seek balance for a fulfilling personal and professional life. This book is designed to help you break through your own glass ceiling and meet your leadership goals. It takes you through a series of solution-oriented, focused questions designed to clearly define what it is you want and how to get it. The questions also help you identify when, where, and with whom you were successful in the past so you can do more of what worked and less of what doesn't. The hands-on practical information and self-assessment exercises in this book show you how to improve your productivity, save your time, honor your values and priorities, develop business savvy, delegate, improve working relationships, overcome perfectionism, and increase your assertiveness. The book also provides checklists that help you identify negative thinking habits and challenge those non-supportive, disempowering, self-limiting beliefs sabotaging your success. It helps you get out of your own way and finally take your foot off the brakes so you can allow yourself to be successful and meet those long sought-after goals that seemed beyond your reach. Here are our other training topics. Break through your glass ceiling with business etiquette and savvy, coaching difficult employees, resolving conflict without harming relationships, fire them up without burning out, high-performing remote teams, leading with emotional and social intelligence, master of motivation and influence, resilient leadership despite chaos, crisis, and constant change. Let me ask you this, please. Have you tried to get to the next level in your career and weren't able to get there? Would you like to develop the professional attitude and habits that will advance your career? Are you losing time, sales, and money due to poor time or stress management among your employees? Do you have employees who are absent or worse, burned out? Do you want to more effectively handle crucial discussions at work so you can improve your relationship with other employees, your leadership mostly? Would you like to coach your employees and give feedback without jeopardizing your work relationships? And lastly, would you like to know how to remain a resilient leader as you guide your organization through the COVID-19 pandemic and other crises? Or maybe you're just feeling so overwhelmed by all the questions I'm asking, you just can't answer no matter what. Well, if you answered yes to any of these pesky questions, our training program will teach you the leadership skill sets and mindsets to advance your career. How does that sound? As a result of taking these powerfully transforming webinars, our students learn to work smarter, not harder. If you'd like to improve your leadership among all this chaos, crisis, and constant change, then this training and our individual or group coaching will work for you. I've got the tools and formulas that can help you change to help you improve your leadership. It has helped hundreds of students create more success in their work lives. And I know it can do the same for you. With COVID-19 and the economy being uncertain, a lot of people are deciding to stay put and wait until it's all over. But the longer you remain in a state of inaction, the deeper your fear, doubts, and worries become, and the harder it is to change. So my question to you is, if not now, then when? The cost of losing a leader can be as much as their annual salary. For this region, that's $100,000 or more. Add to that the 3 to 5% it takes to bring that person up to speed. But the cost of this training is a tiny fraction of that. Most companies are paying more than $2,000 for a full-length live program like this. To reward you for working, or rather watching the whole video, I'm going to give you a ridiculously affordable special rate so that all of you can take it. Not for the live 3-day event tuition of $2,000, or even for the normal online tuition of $700, but only $150, so that every one of you can get it and change your life with it. That's a 93% discount. I know it's crazy, but we're living in crazy times right now. This type of crisis is new for all of us. It's something we are all experiencing together. Yes, today things are scary with the virus. There's turmoil in the market. I know that. There's a lot of uncertainty, fear, and panic, and there's a lot of speculation. But here's the thing, even though we have a lot of unknowns right now, you have a choice. You can let the stress bring fear, anxiety, and panic, or you can be the light in a dark situation. You can lead in a positive way versus a negative one. Your employees are watching you. They are looking for calm, poised role models. How you show up today and every day from now on is entirely up to you. Do you ignore what is happening? No. You want to stay informed. Do you stick your head in the sand and wait until you can make the perfect move? No, you want to act now and decisively. You don't want to let stress immobilize you, wear you down, or consume you, do you? You have the opportunity to learn and practice the necessary leadership skills right now. It's not like most programs where they teach you what to do and tell you how to do it for homework after the program on your own time. No, this is an interactive program with exercises and processes that help you transform your mindsets, help you remove the blocks to success, and help you apply the skills. This program is online, no travel fees, no hotel fees, no extra fees at all. When I teach you this program live over 3 days, the regular tuition is $2,000, but since this program is online, I don't have the cost associated with the live seminar. So I can make the online tuition much less. That would normally be only $700, but again, I'm going to offer it to you for only $150. I hope you agree that it's more than fair. You can practice responding rationally instead of reacting emotionally. These courses are like the playbook for getting through times of chaos, crisis, and constant change. Practice acting in spite of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, instead of being paralyzed by it. Practice making decisions with calm, contentment, composure, even when things aren't ideal. You have an opportunity, in light of a crazy situation, to show up as your best self, or your worst self. The choice is yours. The full-length program of each of these webinars, or individual or group coaching, offer tons more great tools for you. They give you information to help you with your mindset and your leadership. Our goal is to make sure that when this ends, you're skyrocketing to the top instead of spiraling down. This and my other training webinars listed here could not have come at a better time. Many of you are home or not working, maybe working from home. So this training is perfect timing for you. And if you aren't completely blown away with the discoveries you are making and the results you are getting, just let us know and we'll refund every penny of your tuition. You have absolutely nothing to lose, and a lifetime of leadership success and happiness to gain. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to be of service to you. I wish you the very best, and I'm very excited to be working with you. Here are our Leadership Development Self-Hypnosis audiobooks. These products are available on our website. The theory behind these products: whatever you habitually tell yourself, even though it may be false, sinks down into your deep inner subconscious mind as true. And this creates your actions, experiences, and results. Once your deep inner mind accepts something, it executes it. Even so, if you've conveyed negative beliefs to your deep inner mind, you can change by relaxing, visualizing positive outcomes, and listening to positive constructive affirmations. What's most exciting is you can reprogram your deep inner mind and access 100% of your brain's power to learn anything quickly and easily. These recordings use advanced human performance technologies. We continue the powerful technologies, or we combine the powerful technologies of neuro-linguistic programming and whole brain learning. What makes our recordings unique? One, they focus on not just the specific skills referred to in each title. They also target the thoughts, beliefs, attitudes, assumptions, and conclusions critical to effective leadership. And two, each title includes 2 tracks. You get 2 recordings for the price of 1. Track 1, Bedtime Bliss, relaxes you with ambient music, soothing nature sounds, and vocals. Track 2, Start Your Day in a Positive Way, is designed to be listened to immediately as you awaken and to reinforce the concepts learned in Track 1. It's designed to maintain your goals when you listen to the recording as you drive, exercise, or conduct your everyday activities. You can have all the best leadership tools in the world, as I've said before, all the latest and greatest leadership research at your fingertips. But if you have a weak toolbox, in other words, a self-defeating mindset, all the tools in the world aren't likely to bring you success. If you haven't been successful after attending training and paying expensive coaches or consultants, these recordings will help you overcome the negative, self-limiting beliefs blocking your success. Because I believe leadership is developed from the inside out, each of our products and services incorporate several self-assessments while challenging your negative, self-limiting, disempowering thoughts and beliefs. In my coaching and training programs, I provide clients plenty of opportunities to practice the skills learned. Unlike other self-proclaimed gurus, I address the inner game of leadership. You may ask, the what game? Yes, I said the inner game. My clients and trainees start by taking a DISC, Strengths Finder, and the Leadership Practices Inventory, a 360 feedback assessment tool. They then create a leadership development plan based on the results of those assessments. These other tools will continue to support you and reinforce your learning. They are such great deals that I can only do it for the next 5 days. After that, it's back to the normal investment. I'm going to reward you for staying to the end of this video by making the full-length program presented here, the online course, webinar, ridiculously affordable, so that every one of you can take this content-packed, transformational program. The discounted programs or products on this slide include the Leadership Success in Spite of Stress book, which is normally $35, is only $10 for the next 5 days. and the Leadership Development Self-Hypnosis audiobook. Any of them are $30 each or $9 only for the next 5 days. And the book and 2 Leadership Development Self-Hypnosis audiobooks are normally $95, only $25 for the next 5 days. Whereas our in-person or virtual leadership coaching is usually $800 a month. Today it is only $400 a month for the next 5 days. And our full-length change management course is available as well. If you enroll right now, I am going to give you the entire full-length webinar, not for the live event tuition of $2,000 or even for the normal online tuition of $700, but for only $150. I'm going to let you have it for only $150 as a thank you for watching this introductory video, so that every single one of you can get it and succeed in your career with it. All you need to do is click on the Add to Cart button right below this video, and it will automatically enroll you in the full-length program. Also, to make sure that there's absolutely no risk to you, I'm going to give you a 30-day back guarantee, 30-day money-back guarantee. That means you can experience the program, do all the online course exercises with me, and if you aren't completely blown away with the lessons you're learning and the changes you're making and the results you're getting, just let me know and we'll refund every penny of your tuition. If you'd like to learn brief leadership lessons in a convenient format, Leadership Success Soundbites is the podcast for you. These leadership podcasts are a perfect way to learn for even the busiest schedule. You can listen to each of our episodes in the comfort of your own home, during your commute to work, on the go, anytime that you need a little inspiration. Cutting-edge leadership coaching from the inside out. It provides more than just skill sets, mindsets too. It goes beyond information to transformation. Better leaders, better decisions, better results. We help you develop new skills you need as an effective decision maker. When it comes to your livelihood, the lives of your employees, and your reputation, making the best decision is vital. That's where Success Soundbites comes in. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Have an excellent day and best wishes to you.